Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I've pulled out my Chanel bag collection once again. For those of you who watched my recent video where I talked about why I stopped buying Chanel and also that I was considering downsizing from my Chanel bag collection, I want to say a thank you, a huge thank you for those of you who watched those two videos, and especially those of you who commented, because a few of the comments actually really hit home for me. And I just want to say, a lot of times many of you reach out thanking me for videos, for either helpful reviews or helping you to either save money because you decided a product wasn't for you, or helped you to make a decision and go for it because after watching my videos you decided yes, it is right for you. But I feel like we are all a community and you guys help me just as much as I do for you guys. So I really appreciate your comments. There were a lot of comments on my last video and I was surprised because the majority of you were saying don't downsize, and I was actually expecting more of you to say, yeah, start letting go of like half of these. Remember, I categorized them from keep to go, and even though it was a hypothetical exercise, it really got me thinking because I'm constantly editing and curating what I own, not just bags, but in general. But with bags, I tend to kind of go a little bit overboard because I happen to get excited with bags. So I'm not going to be the same with shoes or belts or hats or anything like that. But bags are my sort of kryptonite, as I say. So sometimes I think, wow, I have so many more bags than I need, more than enough. And while I feel really grateful and abundant, and I really am enjoying everything that I have, I also sometimes feel like I have to force myself to downsize. And your comments helped me so much. It was kind of like therapy. So I'm actually going to put up a few of the most liked comments that also hit home for me, and other comments that really kind of touched a nerve in a good way, and I'm going to read them to you guys. This was by far the most liked comment. Jessie says, do not let these bags go for the following reasons. 1, you love your curated collection. 2, with the price increases, it's an investment. And 3, you can pass these on as heirlooms to your daughter. So I definitely agree with 1. I worked really hard to curate my collection. You guys know I've been fairly picky and selective with the items that I've brought into my wardrobe, and when it's not working for me, I tend to let go pretty quickly. So yes, this is the curated Chanel bag collection that I've sort of acquired over the years. 2, investment. I don't know that I necessarily consider these as investments, but I understand that they are a form of assets because you could eventually sell them down the road. So I understand what you mean. There's no rush to let go. And lastly, about my daughter, yes, that was definitely a point that I made in my previous video, because I do have a daughter who is getting more into fashion as she grows up, and she may be into these bags, and she's already kind of earmarked the ones that she likes. Of course, her taste might change over the years, but since I'm not really in a rush or any need to let go of these, I can certainly keep enjoying them and using them. And then when she does get older, if she is interested, I can just pass them on to her. I also have a son who's a little bit younger, but I do like the idea of when he gets older and gets married, that his wife can also just pick which bags she might want to, because I want to be as generous to my daughter-in-law, my future daughter-in-law. So absolutely, definitely hit home with that comment. So thank you, Jessie, for just chiming in such a thoughtful way. Here was another comment that was liked by many of you from Alexis. Usually I'm the first one to advocate downsizing, but in this case I say, hold on. Your daughter's tastes are going to change so much in the future, especially as she enters her teen years, and she may want some of these bags. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Beyond that, your collection is so special and uniquely you. Thank you for saying that. I think so too. And basically, eventually I can sell them down the road if I want to. I can always reevaluate in the future. So basically she's saying, take your time, no rush, right? And you know what? From a logical and rational standpoint, I agree with all of these points that, unless I absolutely need to. And there were actually a lot of comments from many of you saying, unless you really need the cash, like unless you need the money, there's no reason why you should let go. And, sometimes I let go regardless of financial reasons. I just let go because of space, so that I can sort of declutter and have a little bit more organization and some empty space in my closet. And sometimes I do it for my own peace of mind, knowing that I'm holding on to things that are not serving me a purpose. But I know that in this case, I mentioned in my recent video that I do rotate through all of these bags and I enjoy them very much. And so I really appreciate that you heard that in my video and you're basically encouraging me to just keep enjoying, because I think I needed to hear that. For me, it's a mental thing. It's a psychological thing, where I mentioned briefly that I grew up, in a very frugal household, immigrant household, lower to middle class as I was growing up. And we were always taught to be super, super frugal and conservative, very generous with others, but very frugal with ourselves. And I think that's not a bad quality, but it's something that I've had to sort of unlearn as I got older, as my financial situation has evolved over the years, as my lifestyle and comfort has evolved over the years, and frankly, just the blessings that I've been able to enjoy. So sometimes I put myself in a position where I self-inflict guilt. And I think some of you can relate to that, where you're being responsible and you're taking care of your priorities and your responsibilities, and you're doing what you can from a financial standpoint to save and invest and all of that, but still you feel bad for some reason when you indulge in something that makes you excited or happy. So that's kind of where I am, sort of teetering back and forth. And for those of you who've been with me for a while, since the start of my channel, now almost 3 or 4 years ago, you'll know that the number one reason why I started this channel was to have an outlet to sort of de-stress, to remind myself that it's okay to have some fun and to relax into it and not be so responsible all the time, not always trying to be the sensible one and not so serious about working hard and all of that, but really just enjoying the one life we've got. So I feel like it's kind of come full circle. It's taken a while, but I went from being pretty conservative to, the pendulum swinging kind of far, where I went nuts for a few years, shopping like crazy and acquiring these, having lots of fun, and then back to sort of in the center somewhere. It kind of vacillates back and forth, but I think I was at risk of going back to the old ways of like, okay, now I need to purge everything and go back to being super sort of like sparse and frugal again. And that doesn't make sense for my life right now and my life stage. I feel like I'm at my prime with my age and my family and my kids' ages. And from a career standpoint, this is the most comfortable I've been, from a financial standpoint as well. So why not enjoy, right? I always say this is about being mindful and balanced, and I'm certainly not going to be balanced if I swing all the way back to like, now I'm just going to cut everything that I enjoy just because I'm used to cutting. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate your comments. They were so thoughtful, and I felt like you guys just really know me at this point, and you hear me and you can relate with me. And no matter who you are, where you are, and what life stage you are in, financial status, age, all of that, I think just human to human, we can connect like this. And it's over silly things like handbags and fashion, but I think we all tell ourselves a narrative, and there comes a point in your life where that narrative no longer serves you. And so for me, I'm really trying to examine what I tell myself. This comment was also really helpful. This person says, I'm in the camp of don't sell any. It's a great collection, and I think you would regret letting go of the beige and the gold ones. But this is the part that really got me. Downsizing, I would let go of other bags, but not these Chanel. Even less if you're actually rotating them all. It's not like they're just sitting there unused. Nice video. So downsizing other bags, but not these Chanel bags, makes a whole lot of sense to me, and I don't know why I hadn't thought of it that way. I worked pretty hard to acquire these over the years. You guys know, if you know my story, that I don't like to say that I deprived myself, because I didn't feel deprived in any way. I just prioritized so many other things for like the past 20 years, and then it was only in the last few years, maybe 3 to 4 years, that I really started to enjoy. And it was the influence of my husband, it was the influence of my mom and very close friends saying, you can't just work and work and work and hustle all day every day. You got to enjoy. You need to do things that you get excited about, and if you want pretty things, you've earned it. Go get pretty things, And that's when I started venturing back into my old self, because when I was younger, I liked to really indulge in fashion and pretty things and all of that. You guys know I tried on the jumbo for the first time in my early 20s, and then I told myself no and waited nearly 2 decades to finally get it. So yeah, considering my backstory, I don't know why I'm trying to force myself to continue to downsize on the Chanel. I've already let go of a few Chanel bags that just simply were not working for me, and they were sitting pretty on a shelf and they weren't serving a purpose, so I felt like it was wasteful. And I realized that if I'm using something, it's not a waste of money because it's serving me in a way, right? I've paid for an item that is serving me, whether it makes me feel put together, makes me feel excited, whatever the case might be, whether it works because it holds on all of my belongings and it's comfortable for me. If you're using an item and it's serving a purpose for you, then it's not really a waste of money. So I'm just sort of rewriting the narrative in my own head. And this comment in particular was so helpful. So thank you. And this is the comment that made me realize that I'm not the only one struggling with self-inflicted guilt. This person says, thanks for sharing. I also looked through my collection after your video to see how I can tighten the collection further. I'm also at the stage I love and rotate my Chanel bags, but I want to be prudent and not let so much money sit there, kind of having this conflict between wants versus pragmatism. And you know what? I fully understand that struggle, that conflict. And I think that sometimes we need to stop and give ourselves some credit for even experiencing or allowing ourselves to feel that conflict, because that means that we're in search of balance, we're in search of figuring out what works best for us, what we can let go. There are probably many people who just are full on maximalism. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way, if that makes anyone happy. And there's not a lot of consideration for, do I really want to acquire more and more and more? Is there ever going to be an end to this? And if that's the way to go for you, then hey, more power to you. But I think for those of us who are always like teetering in the middle and trying to find our balance, the fact that we raise these questions and we from time to time have these moments of conflict, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I don't think that wanting something means that we're not pragmatic. I think if we look at our lives as a whole and we take a big picture view of the decisions that we make, if we are generally pretty practical and wise and savvy and sensible, then when we indulge in little pockets of our lives, then we got to give ourselves that room, because life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to be fun. And if you were blessed with the privileges and the comforts to be able to enjoy, pretty frivolous luxuries and also share these luxuries with others and with your friends and family and bring them into the fold, why not, right? Why not? Like my husband and my close friends who are constantly telling me life is not always about the hustle, go, grind, being a typical New Yorker. And life is not always about just going from point A to point B. Sometimes we stop in the middle, take a detour, smell the roses, and come back around, and we still make it to our journey. So once again, I am really working to rewrite the narrative in my mind in a more healthy and balanced way. And I hope that this video and my previous videos are also helping any of you out there who are in the same kind of mindset right now. Some other comments that really stood out to me. Nicole says, if you're using them, why downsize? Which is like a really straightforward, pointed question that made me pause and think, yeah, why am I forcing myself to downsize when I use these bags? And then there were a few that said, keep this specific bag and that specific bag. There were actually a lot of you that said you got to move over some bags from the left side to the right side because I had made two piles, or vice versa. And then V says, only sell if you need money. And I feel like there were a lot of comments like that. Like, if you don't need the money, don't sell. If you need the money, fine. 3 words, do not sell. This made me laugh. That was very much like a command. And then why would you downsize? And you have a daughter to pass down to, right? So just enjoy. And you guys made a lot of sense for me. I am still a huge proponent of decluttering and downsizing and really just editing what you have in your life, because sometimes things just no longer serve us, or you're running out of space, or you're running out of money. If those are the variables that are causing you to sell or let go, then absolutely I feel like it's so much freeing, and the mental drain and the stress will be removed, and you'll feel a lot lighter. I have let go for space issues in the past, and I have let go because I felt like certain items were no longer working with my wardrobe or with my life stage. And every time I do that, whether I donate or sell, I feel so good, so good. Never once regretted it. Feel just so light and free. So I know the joy in that experience as well. There's joy in acquiring something beautiful, but there's also definitely joy in letting go and making space in your life and just freeing it up. I'm not talking about making space to then fill it with a new hot trendy item. You can do that too. I know sometimes we do that just to rotate our collection. I'm just talking about letting go, period. It can feel so liberating. So I'm still a huge fan of doing that if you feel that it's the right time and the right point for you to do it. But I agree with you guys after reading all of your comments. I feel like I was forcing myself. There's actually another comment that I didn't capture a screenshot of that was really helpful. One of you had said that you could hear the joy in my voice when I'm talking about each of these bags. So basically saying, if you're feeling joyful, why let go, right? And another one of you said that it feels like it started off as a hypothetical exercise to do this video, and then it got all too real and I was forcing myself. And I think that's what happens. Like, I force myself to be super, super, super sensible. And sometimes that sensibility can cross over to like just torturing myself unnecessarily. So anyway, I just want to thank you again for all the comments. I know there were so many more comments. I wish I could screenshot all of them, but I'm going to read every single one. And by the way, I'm going to show you, I did give away one of my bags recently, very recently. I shipped it to my friend Julie out in California. She's a dear friend of mine. One of the friends actually who's always nudging me to like enjoy my life more, have more fun, has been like a therapist for me over the years. She's been going through some personal stuff, and I just wanted to brighten her mood. She really wanted this bag from The Row. It's pretty pricey, but it's got a very specific aesthetic of like this slouchy kind of half moon kind of banana shape. And you guys know I got a bag like that recently, so I sent it to her. Here's a clip.
Your handwriting. I'm so excited. Oh, I like the bag. Oh my god, 언니. The leather's really soft. Oh, whoa. I love the shape. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Thank you, 언니. Wow, you made my day.
So you can tell my friend Julie is happy, and actually from a style standpoint, that Tonka bag, which is beautiful, fits her style so well, so much better than me actually. You guys know that bag and the shape of it was a little bit outside my comfort zone, but it was just so pretty, and I thought, okay, this is going to be perfect for her. So she's happy, I'm happy, and I think the person who had commented that if I really feel the itch to downsize, I can look at other bags in my collection, I think that was spot on. Also, you guys remember I recently unboxed this little cutie here. This is the Ferragamo little mini tote. Also comes with a crossbody strap, and remember I mentioned that my mom had said that she really wanted a little bag like this for her everyday essentials. I sent her a photo of it. She was smitten. I've decided I am going to gift it to her. It's actually really good timing because her birthday is coming up in a few weeks. So this will be for her. And I also mentioned in that video that, I might consider getting another one, the exact same one in black for myself, or a different pop of color. And I thought, let me just give this to her, and there's no rush for me to replace this for myself. I have plenty of other bags, not just the Chanel, but you guys know my bag collection. So I'm just going to give this to her, and I know it's going to make her happy. While I have it though, if you guys have any questions about this, because I wasn't able to do a proper full review, I only did an unboxing, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer your questions before I send it off to her. And I do have other bags that I am expecting to acquire, and some of it is going to be for research, for the purposes of showing some new up-and-coming styles for you guys, and also just for my own sheer curiosity. And if they don't work for me, I'm going to continue gifting them, whether it be to friends and family or to you guys. You know that sometimes brands gift me bags, and when a bag is gifted to me from a brand, I will do it justice by doing a thorough and honest review to the best of my ability. And if it's not working for me for whatever reason, or it feels like a duplication of a bag that I already own, then I will then re-gift it. And I did that recently with 2 Polen bags with you guys. So just stay tuned. I know that many of you are really into these high-end designer brands, but you're also equally into lesser known brands, more affordable brands that offer really great value, brands also that fly under the radar. There are also a lot of designer brands that have been around for like over 100 years that nobody really talks about, at least not on social media. So I'm going to start to poke around there as well. So I'm going to definitely have a little bit more variety in the next coming weeks in terms of bags that I showcase. And I will really let them go if I find that they're not working for me or that, they're just duplications. So stay tuned. And once again, I just want to say thank you so much for watching my videos, being part of this community, but also taking the time to like thoroughly respond and comment, ask me questions that make me think. Like I said, a lot of you reach out saying how helpful my videos are, but I want to say you guys are really helpful to me too. And sometimes coming onto YouTube is like medicine for me. So thank you again. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it in some way. If you have any questions, do leave them down for me in the comment section. I always try my best to get to them. And if you're new to my channel and you're like, what in the world is this? Because this is probably a little out of context for you, you might want to go back and kind of revisit my older videos. But if you enjoy this type of content, I would love for you to subscribe and hang around. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.